Is this too pink? I was really... Hello everyone. This is a full year and a half. Full year and a half? Let's see, I started this in July of 2025? Or 2024? That was July 2024, so that's crazy. Here I am finally putting the video together for a couple reasons. I need to make enough room on my phone for me to be able to continue recording all of the things that I'm editing and putting together for my current project, but also I just need to put this behind me. Finally get the content out that I had been wanting to make for a long time, but always kind of thought that it wasn't good enough to put out, and just kind of get over that. So bear with me. To give you a little background on this project, I was living at Rosalie Mansion and Gardens, where I was the resident property manager overseeing the museum, the gift shop, and all of the maintenance that would go on at that historic house museum. And I was living in the kitchen dependency, specifically above the kitchen dependency, which was also a part of the museum. And my private quarters were neglected for a very, very long time. And they were dull and dingy, and I was also using it as my oil portrait studio space, and I needed something that was worthy of historic oil portrait inspiration. So I knew I had to at least paint the walls. And I did not even get permission from the property owners, who happened to be the Daughters of the American Revolution, before I did this. But also knowing that I'm a decorative arts conservator and very interested in architecture history, I had a feeling that if they were ever to discover that I took on this project, bringing those interiors back to what they would have been or could have been in 1810, I didn't think that they would be terribly upset about it, because that kind of work comes at a pretty high price, and they technically got it for free. So I just kind of like tucked that away, didn't really think about it, and just pushed forward. But I also wanted to use this as a portfolio builder. At the time, I was really kicking off my decorative arts career, and I didn't really have a lot of a portfolio to show to people. So this one kind of ballsy move got me quite a few gigs, so that was nice. I think I'm going to break this into about 2 to 3 videos. It's an awfully lengthy process. It took me about 3 weeks to complete. That includes the trompe Delft tile that I did in the fireplace surround. So I'll break this up into something that's a little bit more digestible, and this will just be part 1. So stick around for part 2 and 3, and maybe there's going to be a part 4. But plot twist and spoiler alert, I left Rosalie Mansion and Gardens June of 2024. No, June of 2025. I left Rosalie Mansion and Gardens June of 2025, and I went back up to Maine to learn historic plaster repair, and also to go back to work for some very good friends of mine that needed some extra help that summer. And who knows, maybe I'll be back there this summer doing that same thing, and I'll take you along on that journey. But yeah, anyway, here it is. I hope you enjoy, and like and subscribe. I am so terrible at getting before and after shots, so I figured I've literally already started this, but I figured I would document this now before I go any further, the room transformation that is to take place here. So we've got some trompe paneling that's going to go all the way around the room. There will be trompe Delft tile in the fireplace surround, or creating a fireplace surround. And I think a mural on this wall. Okay, plot twist. That mural doesn't actually happen. Now there's a couple other things further ahead that also aren't going to happen, because I no longer like the way that they are going to complement the space. And that's just how I work. I do a little bit, and I decide what's gonna work and what's not gonna work, and then we move on. And you're just gonna have to get over it. I'm so sorry. Early 19th century, late 18th century, probably a river scene. So. And I'm thinking a frieze, probably of camellias. As beautiful as that frieze of camellias sounds, it doesn't happen. It didn't work. Wasn't gonna. We went simple, and it was right for the period. Going around above the chair rail. on everything except for the wall with the mural. So, stay tuned. Good morning. Yesterday I very impulsively started a trompe-l'oeil paneling project in my bedroom that is also going to encapsulate the window trim because there isn't any in this 1810 dependency that I'm currently residing. What I love about that is it's an opportunity to do some really fun trompe-l'oeil. What I don't love about how impulsively I started this project is I did not plan anything out. I did not map anything out. I wasn't actually anticipating doing this for the next month or two. And now I am fully engrossed, fully like diving straight into this bedroom transformation project. Like what I did in Portland, I kind of went for a 1910 to 1920 capsule bedroom where I transformed every bit of that bedroom into really what it would have looked like in the early part of the 20th century. Here, I'm doing that in the early part of the 19th century. And what was very popular at the time, especially if there was not any trim here, is to paint it on in a trompe-l'oeil style, which means to fool the eye. So anyway, I'm going to continue the progress on this, eventually make it all the way around the room. I'm hoping to do that, realistically finish it in the next 2 weeks. And then once I finish going all the way around the room, I am going to work on the fireplace, this beautiful, very early vernacular style fireplace mantle that I'm going to paint on some blue Delft tile to go around and create the surround that has all been plastered over. And then I'm thinking a very simple circa 1840s, 1850s cast iron insert. So that cast iron insert, faux painted, doesn't happen. But I do end up doing the trompe-l'oeil Delft tile, so that's a win. Will be painted on the plaster to make it look like there is still something going on there, despite the fact that it has been entirely plastered over. Or maybe a small mural. Now, the toughest part when you are doing trompe-l'oeil is figuring out where your light source is going to be coming from. What I've decided is that the bed will go here. I'm looking for a queen size Sheraton 4-post canopy bed that will go there. That's a tall order. But then a nightstand will go there. So I need the light source appearing as if it's coming this way, because when my nightstand light is on, that just makes sense. So the light pattern will continue that direction, and then I'm going to start it this direction because there will be another table here casting light that way. Now I think there'll be another light source over here, and then I'll send it that direction. We are back at it again this morning. I am starting the panel immediately to the left of the one under the window, and we're just gonna move right along. This is a really large panel, but I think I should be able to get through this one today, and then tomorrow start on that one. Now, it's not just in the panel section that I need to add some realism. I also need where what would be a stile that goes across and the risers separated. So there needs to be a slight seam, if I can do this on camera, that is too dark, but I will fade that out. Let's see. Just toss in a little. Okay, so I've faded that line out, but it's still not quite the way I want it. Gonna take some more, little brighter green to fade into that gray where it looks like, or hopefully it looks like, two pieces of wood have been joined, have also been caulked over, and then painted. Very hard to do this on camera, so bear with me. We need to get the direction of the paint right, because you would paint the stiles horizontally and the risers vertically. Okay, so I've just taken a little bit of white just to blend into the oil that's already there, because maybe this riser has shifted over the years and pulled back away just on this corner and is catching a little bit of the light that is coming this direction. And perhaps she's just old, that's all. Made it pretty far today. I am gonna finish that edge before I lose the light. We had a thunderstorm earlier. It got pretty dark in here, but now it's nice and illuminated again. So I'm gonna finish that edge once my back recovers. I'm also gonna take some of the flat wall color and clean up some of these edges. I want those nice and sharp where that style comes along. There will be what appears to be a chair rail, and I'm not sure, because the chair rail will also have to make a 90-degree turn and go up along the window trim. And I'm not sure if I want to do it in a faux grain to match the windowsill, the baseboards, and the doors, or if I want to continue being green. But I will worry about that tomorrow. Okay, I think that is enough for today. Quite pleased, it's looking good. What I'm gonna do in the corner is make that line that goes across as if it's one continuous style, make a little shadow in the corner so that it looks like a mitered edge. Same thing on the bottom. Then I'm hoping, like I said before, that I can just finish that panel real quick tomorrow and then start doing the trim around the window, which will attach to the chair rail. I think I have decided that I am going to keep the chair rail green, because I would like the chair rail to make that 90-degree turn and just go up around the edge of the window trim. So, in just under 3 hours, I'm nearly certain I finished this panel. Again, this is where the light will be sitting, so I've kind of got some highlights here, some highlights under here, on the edge there. And should this be darker? Maybe. I think I'm gonna darken this up just a little to kind of give more of what that's got going on. Hold, please. So let's take the tape off and grab this corner. Okay, some edge to clean up there. Come on. And an edge to clean up there. But it's coming along. Almost done. Okay, I just sat cross-legged on a pillow for 3 hours, so I'm standing and trying to give my hips some relief. I love this panel. I love the way it came out, but I am going to lighten this section up here. I was kind of going that dark because I know there's going to be a lamp there and it's going to shine light on the tops of that, or really the top there at the side of the panels here. And because the light will be closest to it, I figured the shadow would be most dramatic under there. But it just looks a little off. So I'm gonna tone it to around that section. So I'm just gonna take a dry brush and a little bit of white oil paint and just kind of tone that down. Now that I am vertical again, I am deciding how wide to make this trim. I definitely want it to line up with this rail. So it needs to be as wide as the rail, and then I think the chair rail that comes across will cut in at this corner and then just go up, outlining the trim around the top. And I think that will look simple and nice and theoretically period appropriate. So when deciding to randomly do this project at 12:30 on a Sunday, I did not really put a lot of effort into measuring out where everything went. I figured I could use some visual cues like the width of the window to kind of figure out where this panel was going to go. And it appears that I have messed up with the very first panel that I did. I like the width of this rail, but this rail is about 3/4 of an inch narrower. And that is because I lined this panel up with the width of the window, and I did not do that with this one. So what I'm going to do, because I already didn't like how bright this green was, I kind of wanted to tone that down just a little bit. I am going to paint over that. I got cut off, but I'm going to paint over this. So this rail is the same width as that one, and then just scooch that one in by 3/4 of an inch. And yeah. Am I annoyed? Yes. But that will drive me crazy. I know, I'll have my bed here. So theoretically, actually, it'll be right here. So when I look over at that, I want it to be perfect. Okay, that is drying. It is now the right width. And I just need to move everything over 3/4 of an inch. Not bad. And then I'll start on the window trim and then the chair rail. Okay, we're all better now. That's where it belongs. Same distance, or width, I should say, as that. Now I may proceed. Had to take a short break to get more tape, but the tape has been acquired, and I'm going to start marking out where the chair rail is going to go and how the trim is going to go around the window. So I got it all taped off, and I got it filled in and painted, but on this side I started the chamfered edge, and I'm gonna peel this back now just to see if it's worth doing this method or if I should just go in and do it by hand. So let's see how this turned out. Let me see if I can find a spot to put this brush. Right here is good. Let's see. Oh yes. I'm quite pleased. The lighting in here is so difficult to see what I'm doing, but I think that came out pretty all right. So I will continue this method. That went so much faster than doing it all by hand like I had been doing. Ignore the fact that that is a bit brighter. I just had to clean up that edge with some fresh paint, so that will dry back to the color that it was. Now just to do this side and up around there. All right, I think I'm gonna take the tape off. I'm a little apprehensive because it's oil and it'll take forever to dry, so if I need to put the tape back on, not really an option, but hate that. All right. I can do this one-handed. Focus, please. All right, I'm just gonna show you the reveal because this is too much. Okay, I'm gonna show you a little bit more because this is just too good. Hell yeah. Yes.
Gosh. Oh my gosh.
I can clean that up. Oh. Obsessed.
Gosh. Look at that time. Okay. And then. Oh, this was one night that I did not sleep. It is so hard to stop.
Absolutely obsessed. All right, just have to do that on 3 more windows and 4 more walls. I'm ready to take on the next wall. So I'm going to get this painted tonight with 2 coats of the green, and then first thing in the morning, start on this enormous panel. I think it's even bigger than this panel. Wish me luck. Got that all painted. I will start on this panel, this long panel right here tomorrow. Hopefully finish that tomorrow. And theoretically move my bed there next. That way it'll be easier to get around the rest of the room. Good morning. I am back on the floor painting this wall, doing a second coat, as last night I kind of lost the light and need to, maybe focus, maybe don't. Need to fill in any of these spots before I take this layer of tape off. I do brush on my color. If you were expecting me to use a roller, you are sadly mistaken. Does this take longer? Absolutely. But it has 2 benefits. Less paint waste. So this quart is going to take me quite a ways. But also I get the added benefit of the brush strokes. So I'm brushing horizontally on these large horizontal panels, horizontally on the stiles, and then vertically on the rails. So. Nearly done with this panel. The taping really does help. I don't know why I didn't think of that sooner when doing these, but yeah. So based on the lighting situation in daylight, I'm going to make this inside of the panel a little bit brighter, and then that side of the panel a little bit darker. Now I know I've been saying I'm going to have a light here, and I will, but certain concessions have to be made because it's not always going to be evening. Sometimes there will be natural light, and I feel like that won't look too out of place even when there's a light on over here. I'm getting so much faster at this. So that's not awful. Love that. And I think I'm gonna start the next panel. Okay, so this panel has begun. That paint inside that tape is drying, but I think I'm gonna push through and finish these 3 panels today. I think I can do it. So there is a slight indent in the wall there. I mean, none of these walls are straight, but I did my best visually to at least make these appear straight. However, we have this here. I don't know if you can see, it just appears that there's a slight dip very, very slight, but you can really see it from this angle. Am I being too nitpicky? Is it fine? Or should I Either way, I have to wait until the oil paint dries, which will be about a week before I lay tape over anything and try to make any changes. So I will be forced to deal at least until then. Okay. Got that going. That. And I'm gonna finish this panel tonight. My butt hurts. Okay, the last panel of the day. Come take off some tape with me. Now, this is not the tape that I normally would be using. I ran out of scotch again. I just go through so much. It's fine. So, not terrible for not being scotch. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I've seen worse. Come here. Last piece. Let go. There we go. What are you doing there? Okay, that's nice and crisp. I do have to fix that. I don't know how that got there. And then there's some paint loss. But otherwise, pretty crisp. All right. And tomorrow, I will do around the window, tape that out, get that painted in, and then I will do the chair rail, and then this wall is done. This wall took me 3.5 days because I did it all freehand, except for the chair rail and what goes around the window. All of this is freehand. Turns out taping helps. All right, lesson learned. Had a late start this morning, so I'm taping this off now, getting the window all set. Just like over here, I am going to be removing these blinds. I assume these blinds were expensive. They had them made for every single window, so I am carefully removing them, and they are all going into the closet here. So that when I leave, if someone would like to put these back together and put them up as hideous as they are, they can. I have other plans for these windows that don't involve historically inaccurate Venetian blinds. Not that Venetian blinds are new, but the material, this plastic, it ain't the vibe. So, here we go. So the reason I was late to start this morning is I was picking out wall colors. These, though they don't look like it on camera, are 2 different shades. There we go. You can kind of see it there. I was thinking this for the wall color and then this for a slight shadow. They're more orange than they're reading on camera right now. They're kind of reading like a salmony pink. Well, I guess that's very close. I still think this might be a bit too intense. I love it. I love the color combination. I'm just concerned about the other details that I had planned for this wall, that this might be a little bit too intense. I think a slightly lighter color would be perfect. So I will get more samples. Okay, so that is down. I will eventually take the brackets out, but I'm going to take out these crudely bent nails that I can only assume were holding a curtain rod. They are on all three of the windows in here. I obviously took those ones out. So, making some progress over here. Got the chair rail taped out while this coat is drying. I need to get another coat there. I'm gonna put a coat on this so that that's drying. When I'm doing the second coat here, it's a whole process. Just so I can get my bed moved over here so that I can paint that wall and have that ready to go tomorrow. But I am also gonna be setting up and really prepping the bottom to be done. So I had cleaned the upper part of the wall where I was going to be painting this, but I did not clean towards the bottom because plaster keeps crumbling out from under what I assume is a paper that they put over the plaster to stabilize it, which is totally normal, totally fine. But it drives me crazy. Like things like that, So I'm gonna be putting a 3/4 mold around. Will be a very historically inaccurate foam peel and stick molding that will just go around and sit on top of the baseboard, and it will really help accentuate the beaded edge of this baseboard. And then to really lean into the early 19th century trompe l'oeil and faux painted everything, I am going to be covering from the 3/4 mold all the way down to the floor, and then using some tools to really get inside the bead there will be faux marble, faux white Carrara marble. I would normally paint it myself. That would be a very fun project. However, I cannot stomach the idea of painting over this beautiful beaded edge woodwork that has been unpainted for 200 years. So I will not be doing that. But I'll still have the same effect. So then in addition to that, I'm toying around with the idea of having a frieze that goes around here. Maybe stencil, but I'm really leaning towards just hand painting it myself, doing some very realistic looking camellias with some acanthus leaf. And then once all of that is done, once the walls are done, and maybe once the ceiling is done, I don't know if I might do something there. But once all of that is done, then I'm gonna go after the floor. I'm thinking of doing my own oilcloth, and it would not be tacked to the floor. I don't wanna do anything that is going to be troublesome for someone to undo. The whole purpose of this is to have it visually convincing for myself to be circa 1830, but I would really, not want to do anything that's going to cause any damage. Not that I think that these floors really could get any worse, but it's fine. All right, this video is getting way too long, so I'm gonna cut it off here. And then in the next installation, you will see the rest of the trompe l'oeil wainscot and chair rail and me painting the upper parts of the walls. And then in the third video, we'll do the trompe l'oeil Delft tile. I want to give a big thank you to the patrons over on Patreon for supporting me and making videos like this possible. If you too would like to become a patron, you can follow the link in the description below, where I'm posting mostly videos about my current house project in Helena, Arkansas, but there's a lot of other backlog of video for you to catch up on: how I restore antique sewing machines, how I make my own clothes, how I oil paint, how I do a lot of things. So if you too would like to join that growing community over there, like I said, the link is in the description, and thank you so much. If you are not able to do that, if you would just like and subscribe and follow along on this journey over here on YouTube, that would also be greatly appreciated. Just missing a couple teeths. We'll fix that.